Hello, I'm Zash, and welcome to episode 61 of my Senjou no Maou, or The Devil on G-String, Let's Read. Joining me, as always, is my co-reader Faith. The hostage crisis still continues, and Yuki has made some posturing about being able to harm Mizuha. Granted, Mizuha did it to herself, but Usami doesn't know that. So, they go ahead with the prisoner exchange. Usami has come up with a plan, and when they sent the director in, apparently he made his move, armed with a taser. Unfortunately, Yuki saw him coming, and was able to protect herself. Anyway, please enjoy this next episode.
Mizuha screamed. She had jumped out from behind a crate. She desperately clung to the director's arm from behind him. After a short struggle, the black weapon in his hand fell to the ground with a clang. The powerful device which had given the director his brash confidence was now on the floor. He roared and thrashed, shaking Mizuha off in the process. However, Yuki was already holding the director by the collar. Cool air rushed past her flushed face. Her flawless shoulder throw hurled the director quite a ways. His spine hit the concrete floor hard.
Maui?
He fainted in agony, his mouth still hanging open from the pain of the impact. Yeah, I feel him there.
Yeah.
That sounds incredibly painful. Yuki caught her breath and looked down at her father, crumpled on the floor like a caterpillar. I've changed my mind. I think I really will kill you. Yes, son. Sorry, Mizuha, but you're partially to blame. You were the one who allowed your father to go unpunished. Guilt tore at Yuki's heart as she spoke. She knew Mizuha had no hand in these events, but Yuki was powerless to halt what had already been put into motion. Urged forward by her overwhelming hate, Yuki tied the director's arm behind him with a nearby rope. If you really think about it, we're not really sisters. Huh? Legally, I mean. It would be liable for the media to call you a murderous sister. I was just confused. There's nothing to worry about. What are you talking about? Of course we're sisters. Stop with that. We're practically strangers. I'm grateful for your help, but this is the end. Yuki picked up the long, narrow nail she had mentioned earlier and crouched at the director's side. Now, talk. Yuki's expression must have been drenched in cruelty, as the director's face quickly filled with unmistakable fear. You ordered Katakura to set fire to the house, didn't you? Yuki's rage dragged her mind back to the night her house burst into flames. The floor and walls licked at the young Yuki with a blazing red heat. Her mother fought against time and an unconquerable illness to stand up, lift the half-asleep Yuki, and jump out the window. Yuki cried in her mother's scorched arms. I said talk. Talk, or I'll kill you. She thrust the nail at the director's neck. He promptly confessed through frantic breaths.
Alright, I ordered it. Katakura-kun was in a bit of money trouble, and I gave him an offer he couldn't refuse. But I swear, I never told him to set fire to the house. I swear!
The devil in Yuki's heart gorged on her wrath. Now that is a good use of the word gorged.
Yes.
Very provocative mental image. Then why was the house burned down?
Please, it's the truth,
he said, his tears and saliva splattering across the room.
Katakura did it of his own accord. You gotta believe me.
Listen. Shut up. Words could no longer reach Yuki, nor could her consideration of Mizuha, or her guilt towards Haru. Even her gratitude to and love of her foster father blew away into the storm of rage within her. That fierce wind took everything from Yuki, until all that remained was an empty shell, one waiting for the awakened demon within her to fill the vacancy her fast-fleeing soul left behind. Yuki punched the director in the face. After shaking his tears and saliva off her hand, she picked up her phone. "There's another person I have to kill." The call was quickly answered.
"What's the holdup, Yuki? Weren't you going to release Mizuha if we handed over the director?"
What a smartass. After giving the director that dangerous weapon, she has the nerve to act so innocent? Yuki laughed. Haru was a hypocrite after all. We ran into a bit of trouble in here. But rest assured, I have no need for Mizuha anymore. Despite her voice, which still dripped with the flames of adrenaline, Yuki's mind was as cool as ice. "I hear you've got Katakura out there waiting for me. Would you mind ushering him inside?"
"Oh, please."
"Oh, I see. You refuse. Well, say goodbye to this sack of shit in here." Yuki feared she might actually kill him on the spot, unconcerned about the consequences.
"Come down, Yuki. I'll do it. Katakura-san's on his way now."
No dirty tricks this time, Haru. My patience has its limits, and you're testing them. Yeah. Yuki stood at the warehouse entrance once more. I'm opening the door. Perhaps Yuki's anger had robbed her of her cool. She realized she was about to open the door without bringing along a hostage as a shield. What if they rush in as soon as I open the door? However, it was a needless worry. The sea breeze blew in. A short man stood not an arm's length away from her. He wore a suit and thin glasses. "You're Katakura?"
That's right.
Yuki immediately pulled the man to her chest using her right arm. Her left hand wielded the nail. The moment she pushed the nail against Katakura's neck, a voice rang out against her.
I shouted the second Tokita reached out for the man at the door. "Now, Usami!" This was her best chance, seeing as Tokita had defenselessly opened the door.
Right.
I held the warehouse door open to keep her from shutting it.
What do you think you're doing?
Tokita's eyes opened wide. She wrapped her arms around the new hostage's neck from behind, holding him as a human shield. Her left hand held a glittering long nail. She began a slow retreat. I waved my hand, signaling the Sonoyama recruits to advance. They rushed into the warehouse after Usami and Tokita. As I ducked in after the last of our raiding team entered the warehouse, I noticed a few cars in the distance heading this way.
See this nail? If you come any closer, I'll kill Katakura. Yakuza men ignored Yuki's warning as they charged into the warehouse, one after another. They kept a distance of about 5 yards from Yuki. They had her surrounded, forming a semicircle around her as she backed against a wall. Each one of them teemed with rage, and excluded enough overwhelming force for Yuki to smell it. She addressed the leader of the pack, her old friend. Have you gone insane, Haru? Yeah. This was a last resort. What in hell were you thinking? Just put your mind to use for a second. Don't you see what's going on here? Nothing's changed. Yuki forced out a composed smile. I have a hostage. I could kill him at any moment. To be honest, even with the impending threat, the situation was more favorable than when Mizuha was her only hostage. The man squirming in her arms, the man called Katakura, was despicable enough to warrant at least 2 bloody deaths. Calm down, Yuki. I'm perfectly calm. Indeed. She could take this man's life without so much as a quivering fingertip right now. Please, I'm begging you, stop all these stupid revenge games. I love you, Yuki. If you loved me, why didn't you tell me about the Maou? I'm sorry. I thought bringing him up for no reason would have caused more problems than it solved. Well, it was a sweet thought. Too bad it prevented us from truly understanding each other. Yuki's arm tightened around Katakura's neck. She used excessive force for such a small hostage. Madness fueled her strength to heroic, demonic proportions. She glanced at the director on the floor. You really screwed yourself over this time, Haru. What? I was considering giving up my revenge at one point, thanks to Mizuho. Mizuho stood stone still, dumbfounded. She was obviously failing to comprehend the current situation. She's gone through enough, seeing as her father is just a degenerate piece of trash. Turning out to be the sister of a murderer would just be too cruel. In stark contrast to her words, Yuki's conscience was silent. All blame laid with Haru. If you hadn't sicked the director on me, we could have all gone home with a nice, happy ending. Good going, hero. Haru's face grew grave. She looked at the director with narrow eyes, full of anger. Too late for regrets, Haru. Fine. You can hold me hostage instead. Don't be ridiculous. I may be disappointed in you, but I have no reason to kill you. Is that so? Hostages aren't worth a dime if there's no believable threat to their lives. Yuki stated the obvious. There's no reason to put up with Haru's begging any longer. Now, step aside. You prepared me a car, right? Yuki. What? Do you intend on catching me, even if it means Katakura gets killed in the process? Let me make something crystal clear. If I see anything funny, I'll kill him on the spot, without the slightest hesitation. Nevertheless, Haru refused to stand down. I'll say it as many times as you want. Let him go. I won't let you kill someone. Oh, give it up already. Yuki sighed, then suddenly felt something amiss about this situation. Haru's behavior was odd. She was standing tall, staring straight at her opponent. It wasn't a very typical attitude when faced with defeat. Why? Why? Was she bluffing? Yuki felt that she could read Haru flawlessly after the time they spent together. Yet much to her confusion and discomfort, Haru showed no signs of lying. How on earth did she plan on turning this situation around? Yuki attempted to calm and cool her mind as it raged in a storm of madness. Wait a second. She focused on the men surrounding her. Each of them bore a malevolent air. They looked as though they might pounce at any second. Oopsies. Wait, what are they waiting for? Yuki, now in a panic, reflexively turned to look at the back of Katakura's head. That isn't Katakura-san, Haru declared. Oopsies. It's a member of the Soniyama group. I asked Azai-san to propose this plan to his men. Yuki had no time to be dumbfounded. Nevertheless, her usually talkative mouth refused to move. That's why the Yakuza had hesitated. If Katakura's life were on the line, there would be no reason for these men to restrain themselves. They kept back because the hostage was one of their own.
Look, I got a family. Cut me some slack, would you, babe?
Yuki's hostage, the man she thought was Katakura, spoke to her in the thick dialect of the underworld. All Yuki could do was mindlessly stare at Haru. I'd say he isn't worth a dime as a hostage. What about you, Yuki? Ellipses. Ellipses.
By the way, Tokita, I took a step forward. Usami didn't order the director to attack you.
What?
The director keeps a taser on him at all times. Shiratori told me about it when we had dinner together the day before yesterday. The guy's pretty shady all around, if you ask me. I'd interpreted Tokita's sarcasm earlier to mean that the director launched a surprise attack against her. That was an unbelievably stupid move.
Alright, Yuki. Time to let go of that man. You're smart enough to realize this, but I'll say it anyway. Killing that man will solve nothing.
It was quite a dirty trick for Usami. Its outcome depended on Tokida's mental state. If we were less than careful, or even just unlucky, our stand-in might have been killed. He might be unrelated to Tokida's revenge, but he's still a hostage. As Usami said, there's no guarantee that Tokida will surrender now.
What would you do if I decided I had no qualms about killing people who have nothing to do with this?
Tokida knew as well as I did that Usami believed in her.
You couldn't do something like that.
Usami declared that belief with conviction, and Tokida flinched and looked away in response.
What if I decided to run away with this man as my hostage?
This time, I responded. How exactly do you intend to do that? Are you planning on driving out of here? There's no way a piddly little nail could keep one of our men docile, let alone while the person holding it is watching the road.
Indeed. I'm clearly at a disadvantage.
I could tell Tokida's grip on the man had loosened a little bit.
It looks like I lose. I didn't give you enough credit, Haru.
Ellipses. Megalipses. Tokida let go of the hostage and stood still for a moment, dazed. The nail she had threatened to use as a weapon fell to the ground.
Nessun.
Shiratori squeaked at Tokida's surrender. Judging by the fact that she wasn't bound in the least, Shiratori must have actually been cooperating with Tokida.
Help!
The director seemed to be alive, at least.
Yuki, you little shit! Don't think you'll get away with this!
He seemed lively enough.
Asai-san, please.
The rest was up to me, I guess. Usami wanted me to save Tokida.
You know what would happen if everyone here found out Yuki was connected to Maou.
Yeah. She would be left with Horibe, at the mercy of his horrible tortures.
Thank you.
Fucking hell. Why me? Well, I'll live this down eventually. Eventually. Everyone, listen up. I faced the group of villainous men. Thank you all very much for helping us out here all through the night. I, Azai Kyosuke, will never forget this favor. I will be personally rewarding each of you later. For now, though, I think we should call it a day. I'll report this to my father immediately. Feel free to go home in the meantime. I can't afford to let any of them talk to Gonzou directly. Some of them might have overheard our conversation and learned something about Tokida and Maou. The men, swearing here and there, slowly turned to leave. They seemed content enough after I mentioned the reward. Suddenly, the people nearest the entrance stopped in their tracks. Boisterous greetings echoed through the warehouse. A giant strode through the ranks of beasts before pouncing in front of me. Oh, joy!
Oh, Jesus!
Oh, God. I had seen cars coming when we rushed in. That was Gonzou?
When did my wolves become your livestock, boy?
Father, I'm very sorry. A dull thud echoed through my skull.
I heard about your little hostage crisis. Tokida's adopted kid was planning a revenge on her real father, right?
He pointed at Tokida with his chin. The director suddenly raised his head.
Boss Azai! Ellipses. Thanks for coming all this way. You really saved my backside.
The director tried to kiss a little ass.
Your son did a great job here. Ellipses. You've earned my best regards.
Gonzou finally spoke without a hint of expression.
Swine should be dealt with in a manner befitting swine. You got a whole brigade of my foot soldiers bossed around all night. You know that? It wasn't me. It was that woman over there. Pay them 5 million apiece in compensation.
There were 20 men here at least. That's over 100 million yen in total.
I can't pay that.
Silence!
The director paled. Father, the situation has been resolved. I've no excuse for my overworking of your men.
What are you hiding?
Pardon, sir?
That Mutt Usami is here, is she not?
Did he smell her, I wonder? In any case, Gonzo was quick to suspect the connections between the situation here and Maou.
Spit it out.
He lifted me up by the shirt.
I ordered you to hunt down Maou. Why would you throw my troops into a completely unrelated case?
It's only natural for Gonzo to be angry.
Let me tell you this. When I catch Maou, I'm going to tear him to pieces, and I'll skin every last one of his protégés alive.
Ugh.
I'll count to 3. If you don't tell me the truth by the time I'm done, I'll have these companions of yours massacred.
Companions? Usami, Shiratori, and Tokita?
1.
Are they really my companions? Would that make them my friends?
2.
Is it really time to have a friendship circle moment right here?
What am I doing? I should be obeying Gonzo. Suddenly, despite my suffocated, hazy consciousness, a vision flashed before my eyes. Sabaki protecting her brother. I watched Cannon leave without saying so much as a word. And, as my sight returned, I saw Tokita, who refused to lay a hand on Shiratori. I watched her distant lips swing wide open.
Stop. Let Kosuke go.
She faced Gonzo and me with an utterly blank expression.
You.
Gonzo let go of me and walked towards Tokita.
You guessed right. I know the Maou.
You're Tokita's daughter, yeah?
Yes. Are you acquainted with my father?
Gonzo responded to Tokita's question by throwing her a death glare.
Where is Maou?
I don't know.
Then tell me what you do know, girl.
I don't know much. I swear.
Swear all you want. I'll decide when you've said enough.
Pure malice seemed to swell in Gonzo's eyes. It's all over. Gonzo isn't going to let Tokita off lightly. We didn't know each other for long, but Tokita wasn't half bad, if you ask me. I sorta got along with her. To be honest, I wish she could have stuck around a little longer. I mean, considering the length she went to in order to exact her revenge, Tokita must have held at least a small grudge against Shiratori. Why did she refuse to hurt her? If she had used Shiratori as a legitimate hostage, the situation would have gone overwhelmingly in Tokita's favor. So, why? Why is this sensation so alien to me, when everyone around me seems to have something warm in them?
Haul her in.
Gonzo commanded his pack to pray. Just as I was about to flinch away from the spectacle as I did every time I bore witness to Gonzo's cruelty, I heard pitiful sobs echo through the warehouse.
Please. Please stop.
Of all the begging I've heard before Gonzo, this was the most meaningless, powerless plea.
I like how this fancy music makes it seem like it's actually going to work.
Yeah.
I doubt that somehow. What a foolish girl, Yuki thought. Nesan didn't do anything wrong. Oh yeah, she did.
She did a lot of things wrong. If she did nothing wrong, she wouldn't be caught.
I'm incredibly understanding of her situation, and I feel very sorry for her, and I believe heartedly that she needs counseling more than she needs a jail cell or Gonzo. But that doesn't mean she didn't do things wrong.
Yeah.
Including to you, poor thing. Yuki's heart, already unable to fulfill its revenge, allowed the world to slip away entirely as it fell into despair at this new development. She, she didn't do anything wrong. Mizuha was an idiot. It was no use. Yuki's experience told her this after a mere glance at his eye Gonzo. No matter how much she screams or cries, this giant's heart will remain steadfast. Please, just forgive her. Don't hurt her. Honey, I don't think you understand how the Yakuza function, especially with someone who holds information they want.
Yeah.
She must not fully comprehend the situation. Mizuha doesn't even know about the connection between Yuki and the Maou. She's merely throwing a tantrum. I wouldn't call it a tantrum, she's legitimately scared, but that doesn't mean she's not naive.
Yeah.
And good lord, why does she feel the need to make all this racket? It was all my fault. After finally being pierced by Gonzo's gaze, Mizuha's lips stiffened in fear. I told Nessun to use me as a fake hostage. That is not the issue here, honey.
Yeah.
How foolish. Who would believe such a story? And regardless, Azai Gonzo was uninterested in the hostage situation. Her claim was utterly unimportant. I'm the one who knows the Maou. It has nothing to do with Nessun. Okay, now that one.
Oh?
Trembling in fear before Gonzo's deep voice, Mizuha awkwardly spun her words together. So let Nessun go. Tears fell onto her scarf. The situation was almost aggravating. All she had to do was keep quiet. At this rate, Mizuha would be put to their Yakuza torture as well. Why is she always so much trouble? Yuki stared at Mizuha's scarf as she spoke to Gonzo. You don't really believe her, do you? Gonzo glanced at Yuki. His eyes were chilling enough to freeze Yuki's reason as she tried to read him. Had Mizuha really just lied straight into those eyes? It's true, Mizuha cried out again. This is ridiculous, Mizuha. Be quiet. No! You'll be killed. Why? Mizuha's behavior bewildered Yuki. She wished Mizuha could understand her feelings. The last thing Yuki wanted was to drag her poor sister down with her. Yet more tears flow across Mizuha's pale cheeks, eventually coming to rest on her scarf.
Hey,
Azai Gonzo finally opened his mouth. The anger in his lips implied that he would not waste time with this farce.
what is that?
He asked as he pointed at Mizuha. Who knows? All Yuki could do was smile, though her lips twitched in terror.
Is it your sister or not?
Oopsies.
Because if it is, you know what we'll have to do, right?
The pack of beasts understood their leader well enough, and drew nearer to Mizuha. She had to deny it. But what good would denying it do? It's too late now. Mizuha's eyes flooded with tears. Her scream tore through the claustrophobic air of the warehouse, slicing apart the tension in the room. She's always had it so rough. Please, just let her go. She's had it real rough. I'm pretty sure every guy in this room has had it rougher.
Yeah.
Just putting that out there. Or just as. Mizuha's vocabulary suffered for her desperation. Her plea wasn't convincing in the least. However, despite being too weak to save Yuki, those words did manage to shake her heart. The scarf she had given Mizuha so long ago was drowning in her endless tears. Yeah. She's my sister. Her voice was faint, damp. Just look at her.
Mizuha will stick with Nessa, no matter what.
Aren't we identical? Yuki pointed at her sister, who looked almost nothing like her. Then she realized what she had just done. What was she saying? What a stupid pair of sisters. She had to deny it. Now, think. How could you persuade that stupid sister of yours? Think. Don't involve your sister in this. Hell doesn't need both of us. Speak, damn it. Where were those words you were supposedly so good with? Make use of what you sold your soul to the devil to learn. Her voice wouldn't come out. No matter how much she tried, it wouldn't come out. Oopsies. Oopsies.
What I did then must have come as a huge surprise to Azai Gonzo. It even surprised me. Nobody move! I grabbed Gonzo's huge shoulder from behind. My other hand held Tokida's nail.
Have you gone insane, Kyosuke?
Yeah, I guess I have. Usami, take Tokita and Shiratori and run. What am I doing? Well, everyone get out of their fucking way. Do you guys want Gonzo to die? Why am I doing this? His lips curved into a smirk. It bore all the confidence of a wild animal before devouring its prey. My body had merely moved before my mind could comprehend fear.
Azai-san.
Just get out of here! Usami seemed to grasp the situation. Dilly-dallying around here would be truly idiotic. She quickly pulled Tokita by the arm. Interesting. Ellipses.
I completely let my guard down, Kyosuke.
Ellipses. What got into you? I don't know. I couldn't answer. My classmates' faces just came to mind. Tsubaki, Kanon, Shiratori, Tokita. The tears rolling down their cheeks had spurred me on somehow.
I'm sorry, Azai-san.
Usami quickly helped Shiratori up from the ground and hurried for the door. Tokita and Shiratori followed Usami in a daze, as if they had lost all will of their own. I said get out of their way! I'll kill him! Usami and the rest made their way to the exit. Like a boulder tearing apart rapids, the crowd of people split as they pushed through. Gonzo didn't move an inch. Shortly thereafter, I heard the roaring sound of a car engine outside. They must have taken the car I prepared for Tokita. The tires grazed along, and they left.
Hey.
I was then literally attacked by bottomless despair. Ugh.
I'm surprised, boy.
Ugh.
I didn't think you'd ever betray me. At least, not unless something even scarier than me came along.
That's what I thought, too.
I thought you were just another piece of livestock made to lick my boots.
Oh, you've impressed him.
My hand shook uncontrollably.
I thought you were just another slave to money. Some kid I picked up who abandoned his mother.
It was too late to make excuses. I didn't even understand what I did. Explaining my actions would be out of the question.
Well, what will you do now, Kyosuke?
What will I do? He's asking about the future. What future does someone who bore their fangs at Gonzo have?
You were planning on saving up money and returning to your mother someday, right?
I timidly nodded.
I've got some bad news for you. It came in just now.
What?
She's dead.
I dropped the nail, and it bounced off the ground with a clang.
Your mother, I mean.
My vision was instantly dyed black.
She was run over, apparently.
My knees threatened to collapse beneath me.
Drunk driver.
Though entirely numb, I somehow felt my body melt into the solid floor. Ellipses. There was no traces of a lie in Gonzo's eyes. No. I burst into an eardrum-shattering scream. I looked to the ceiling for a moment before my eyes rolled back, my lungs all the while fighting to force out this blood-curdling despair.
I still want receipts. I don't believe anything Gonzou. It came in just now.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to say something like, "You have no future." That's the bad news that came in just now, not something that could very easily have been a lie.
Yeah.